And we're kicking off today with Trinity, as it was reported not too long ago that she'd be finishing up with TNA Wrestling and is expected to return to WWE very soon. At the latest tapings for TNA Impact, Trinity was scheduled to face Giselle Shaw, but the match became a tag match that saw Trinity and Jordynne Grace defeat Shaw and Savannah Evans. After the match, an emotional Trinity spoke to the fans, and while she didn't say she was leaving, it certainly seemed like a goodbye. She said, "Coming to TNA has been life-changing for me both inside and outside of the ring. I feel honored to work with such a strong division, an incredible group of women. What a champion we have here. Whenever y'all think of TNA, I want y'all to think of me, Trin TNA. Thank you for coming out, we love you." This show was extra special for Trinity, as according to our sources, her family were present at the show and watched her compete in the main event. Trinity's next match for TNA will be against Grace for the Knockouts title on the January 24th show, and based on this promo, that could very well be her last match as a TNA Knockout. Next week, WWE will host its Royal Rumble event, which is one of the most exciting nights of the year, and there will be plenty of big names who will be attending the event. PW Insider reports that The Undertaker and Michelle McCool will be attending the show, as The Undertaker will be hosting his One Dead Man show the day after the Rumble. McCool recently claimed that she hadn't been asked to be in this year's Rumble match, but to be fair, she also downplayed competing last year before being a surprise entrant. Rey Mysterio will also be in St. Petersburg, Florida, leading to speculation he may return from his injury in the men's Rumble match and confront Santos Escobar. In addition to these legends, other potential surprise entrants for the Royal Rumble include Trinity and Brock Lesnar, and we'll have to see who else appears in the Royal Rumble. Over to AEW Collision, and it'll come as no surprise that The Rock didn't appear on this week's show, but the Brahma Bull was referenced during the broadcast by a fellow multi-generational star. This was Colton Gunn, the son of WWE Hall of Famer Billy Gunn, as after winning the ROH six-man tag team titles, Bullet Club Gold came out to celebrate last night. Colton opened the segment by telling fans that finally the Bang Bang Gang has come back to Saturday nights, imitating the Great One's famous catchphrase. Jay White added that this was one of the most original things he'd ever heard, and they continued to use another legendary catchphrase, adding that "We've got two words for you, guns up." The group were then interrupted by the Acclaimed, who are looking to form a super faction to combat the Undisputed Kingdom, and we'll have to see what other catchphrases BCG may use. On Collision, Daniel Garcia locked horns with House of Black's Buddy Matthews, with Matthews having his stablemates, while Garcia had FTR in his corner. Garcia managed to get the win over Matthews with a surprise roll-up, and the Australian was displeased with the match's outcome and attacked his opponent, resulting in a massive brawl. The tussle got so intense that along with the security personnel, the members of the All Elite Wrestling locker room also had to separate the talents involved. Post-brawl, FTR and Garcia challenged House of Black to a six-man elimination cage match next week to end their feud once and for all, in what'll make for an exciting match. Collision saw the return of Jon Moxley, who in his first match since his Continental Classic loss to Eddie Kingston at World's End, defeated Shane Taylor in a hard-hitting match. After the match, Moxley cut a promo and admitted that he was far from happy with how things have gone and has big plans for the coming year. He said, "Everybody hear this. I'm tough beyond belief. I'm hungry beyond belief. From this moment on, I'm not taking any from anyone or anything. In the year 2024, anybody who wants to step in the ring with me, anybody who wants to cross paths with me, anybody who wants to call themselves a teammate or a colleague of mine, you only gotta do one thing, keep the hell up." Moxley's promo certainly teases that he'll be facing a fellow Blackpool Combat Club member soon enough, and who do you hope to see share the ring with the former AEW World Champion? Adam Copeland kicked off Collision with his open challenge, which was answered by Top Flight's Dante Martin, who, as Nigel McGuinness pointed out, looked happy, not nervous, for the opportunity. Copeland, no stranger to high flyers, was right at home facing the athletic Martin, and whenever he could, the Rated R superstar tried to ground Martin with strikes or submissions. He, however, struggled to combat some of the high flyers' offense at times, and these open challenges have already proven to be a great way for Copeland to face people he may otherwise not fight. Giving young talents a chance to showcase their skills is always a good thing, but in the end, a mid-air spear and his version of the crossface, dubbed the Grindhouse by commentary, gave Copeland the win. in a post-match interview with Tony Schiavone, saying these challenges were getting harder, but he intends to keep fighting until he regains the TNT title from his former friend, a tease of future plans. On this week's SmackDown, Pete Dunne officially returned to his bruiserweight roots, ditching the Butch character completely, and teamed with Tyler Bate to defeat Pretty Deadly. This was a huge win for Dunne both in the ring and in terms of his character, but if Vince McMahon was still in charge, it may never have happened. While speaking on Muscle Man Malcolm, the former WWE superstar Mansoor talked about McMahon's perception of Dunne, as he said, "Dude, Vince McMahon wanted Butch to be a guy that never wrestles. Vince wanted Butch, Pete Dunne, to be a scrappy little guy who just attacks people, but he never wanted Butch to actually wrestle a match." Despite holding WWE's United Kingdom title for 685 days, McMahon just didn't see Dunne as a wrestler on the main roster. But thankfully, he's getting that chance under Triple H's creative vision. We've got some sad news to report now, as independent star Frankie Francisco Ciatso has died at the young age of 48. A journeyman who competed in several promotions and sometimes got work as enhancement talent in WWE, Ciatso left his mark in wrestling, and we're sending our condolences to those who knew him. Since Payback 2020, Roman Reigns has dominated WWE as Universal Champion, and this week, this title reign moved further up the rankings of the all-time greatest runs. At 1,238 days, Reigns has now crossed Bruno Sammartino's second WWE title reign, meaning that the Tribal Chief now has the fourth longest title reign in the history of WWE. Reigns is currently behind Hulk Hogan, Bob Backlund, and Bruno Sammartino's first WWE title reign, and to reach the top spot, he'll have to hold the gold until Thursday, May 24th, 2028. Whether Reigns holds his title for so long, time will tell, but the Tribal Chief further cemented himself as one of the all-time greats this week. As this week's SmackDown went off the air, Randy Orton stood tall over his Royal Rumble 4-way opponents, but the Viper made the night extra special for some fans after the show. After SmackDown, Orton greeted the WWE Universe, and despite security's attempts to escort him backstage, insisted on personally greeting every fan at ringside. After over a year and a half away, Orton is grateful that he can interact with fans again, and the fans were thrilled to get up close and personal with the former WWE World Champion. More from Collision as Thunder Rosa defeated Queen Aminata on the show, while the Undisputed Kingdom's Roderick Strong defeated Matt Sydal. Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli would get the better of Eddie Kingston and Ortiz, and what did you make of this week's show? Let us know down below. Earlier this month, TNA Wrestling officially relaunched, and the future looks very bright, but one TNA knockout will have to watch the company develop from the sidelines. During a Glow-themed event last month from the Mayhem on Mills promotion in Florida, Kylan King suffered an injury after an awkward landing from a mid-air kick off the middle rope. The 7-minute title match concluded shortly after, and on Instagram this week, King shared that she's expected to be sidelined for 9 to 12 months due to a knee injury. This couldn't come at a worse time for King, who will have to sit by and watch TNA grow without her, and we are wishing her a full and speedy recovery. And we're ending with Charlotte Flair, who suffered a knee injury that's also expected to keep her out of action for much of 2024, but this week, there was some positive news on the Queen. On Busted Open Radio, Ric Flair gave an update on his daughter's recovery and had praise for how Charlotte's been handling the setback so far. He said, "I was speaking with Dr. Dugan. He's been there 30 years. He said Ashley is one of the top 3 athletes that they have ever done surgery on. Think about that. We're talking Bo Jackson. We're talking, I could go down the list of people. The Tommy Johns. He said we consider her one of the top 3 athletes, not wrestlers, to ever come through the doors. Her recovery, she's crushing it. She's actually going to come back faster than they'll ever recommend. That's unbelievable. I thought that might be one of the biggest compliments. It's unfortunate that it had to come from a doctor in a hospital, but I keep telling people, man, she's a different kind of cat." Flair will likely miss WrestleMania, but she may be back sooner than first thought. And we're hoping for the best for the decorated former women's champion.